also, like how I said, you manifest when you're high vibe. So your frequency determines the things that are going to be manifesting to you.
Hello, my love. Welcome back to Arouse for another episode. We are on part 2 of Kiki's interview from the Glow Up Confidence Summit from 2020, and we're just going to dive right into part 2. So let's go. Warning, the following presentation is intended for mature audiences. It includes stigma topics like sex, addictions, mental illness, adult dialogue, and strong language. Viewer discretion is advised. Ooh, well, I'm so excited for you. That is so incredible.
Thank you.
And I mean, the universe does give us lots of signs. It's just, are we aware of it? Are we listening and open to that feedback from the universe or God or whoever you believe is your higher power? Because I know not everyone believes the universe as I do, and you have to like listen to that or things that are like coming up for you. Because if you potentially have a job offer and it's like, you just have this feeling in your gut that it's like, I don't really want to do it. You need to listen to that, and you need to listen to your own intuition as well to find out like what you really want.
That is the biggest thing, is always trusting your gut. That was the one thing when the universe shut that door for me. It was the greatest gift, because I was like, okay, I am in this bedroom. I am trapped in here for at least the next 2 weeks because my parents wouldn't let me. They were So I come home to my parents' place when I'm in between, because it just doesn't make sense for me to have like pay for a place when I'm never there. So super, super grateful for my parents. But they were everyone was like very all over the map in terms of their fear level of COVID. I was not allowed out of my room for 2 weeks without wearing a mask and washing my hands. God bless them. They're not as fearful now. But that being said, I was confined to my room. I literally left it to take a walk around the block and to make a meal, which my mom wanted me to like sanitize everything after I touched it. Like it was crazy. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to try to avoid leaving my room. And it really forced me. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? Watch Netflix all day? No. And I saw this book on my bookshelf and I pulled it off. It was literally, which I'm doing right now with my, with some of my clients, May Cause Miracles. And it like pulled me to it. I have never physically felt more connected to something. The universe was like, take this book. And I did. And I created a program out of it. And that literally was just like the momentum that I needed to have my greatest months in my business to that date in the middle of a pandemic. You never know what is just around the corner for you.
Oh, completely. Like the universe just kind of throws curveballs at you. And it's like, you need this right now, but like, make sure you're paying attention to me. And I remember you like launching this book club, like at the beginning of the pandemic. And I'm like, oh, she's never done anything like this before. This is kind of interesting. But I was like, oh, like, that's great. Like she's doing something new and like different. And I mean, this is a season in everyone's life where they're really just like pivoting, whether it's in their business or their life, their relationship. And I'm like, hey, you go girl. Cause I'm like, if this is what serves you right now, that's awesome.
And that was really what led me. I said, okay, how can I show up and serve in a way that is going to be useful for people, that is going to be, I only charged during the pandemic, I only charged like $44, $55 for 6 weeks of transformation. It was not something that I was doing to profit from. It was not something that I was doing to make a lot of money from. And 17 people enrolled in the program. That was like the largest enrollment I had ever had in anything to that date. And it was just, it was needed. People were just so grateful that they had a community of support to get through that time. And I even had my client today she was in both rounds, and she's telling me today, she goes, Kiki, this is exactly what I needed to like get back on track. I was in a slump and this, the other thing. And she's like, I'm so grateful for this. Like, it's such a simple thing, but it is so poignant. And so it's been one of the greatest things that I've created for like out of the blue, literally just from following my intuition.
Yeah. So ladies, if you're listening, this is a perfect example of listening to your intuition and like what it can do for you.
But it also really helped me to build my confidence back into my business. And so like, that's really the turning point for me, is that it just built all of this confidence and momentum to take me to where I'm at now.
Yay. Wonderful. So what advice or encouragement would you give to someone just starting on their manifestation journey?
Do not get discouraged by the it's not working. Manifestation works for everyone. So you are an energetic being. And this is a lot of what The Secret very briefly touches on. Obviously, go and watch The Secret. I think it is a great jumping off point, or you can read the book. I love the video though, because it has so many experts. You know, Joe Vitale's in it, Jack Canfield of the Chicken Soup, Lisa Nichols. Like, there's so many wonderful experts in that movie. So definitely go and watch it, read the book. The advice that I would give is that energy is the largest part of The Secret that's missing. So they talk about the ask, believe, receive. You really have to understand that your emotions are what guide your manifestation process. So yes, it's wonderful to think positively, but if your positive thoughts are not translating into positive feelings, there's going to be a disconnect. So if you check in with yourself, I always say self-awareness and emotional intelligence are the two that is how I teach manifestation, is that you have to be really self-aware and ask yourself, like, I saw a meme today from Juliet C. Obodo. I need to get that down. But she talks about, she goes, eventually you have to ask yourself, am I the asshole? Right? Like, it's so easy to project and to place blame on other people. But at the end of the day, if everything is going wrong in your life, you're probably the cause of that. So it takes some self-awareness. And if you're new to the self-awareness game, set an alarm morning, noon, and night in your phone, and just check in with yourself and ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? And what are those thoughts making me feel? And from there, you're going to realize that you really have this power within you to shift your feelings. And so the emotional intelligence is that piece of, okay, it doesn't involve going from a state of sadness or fear or guilt or shame into everything is great and my life is wonderful and I can manifest all of the things. That's not it. It's literally making small incremental shifts of, okay, well, why am I angry? Is it because I'm actually just disappointed? And like, boom, that's actually a really big leap. And from there, you're going to be a match, an energetic match for all of the things that are at disappointment instead of anger, which is like a lower vibrational frequency. And when you're in a lower vibrational frequency, you are actually a very big magnet to other shitty thoughts, feelings, people, circumstances, situations.
Oh, that is so fascinating. I never really thought of it like that, where like anger is like a lower vibration than like disappointment.
Yeah. So
Oh,
there is,
really
it's like an hourglass shape. So when you're in like the emotion of like boredom, contentment, you're kind of like in this middle ground of things aren't really great, but they're not really shitty either. And a lot of people live these ho-hum lives because nothing is painful enough to get them to move. Nothing is so bad that they can shift. They're like, no, I definitely don't want this. So I'm going to work to get, great. But it takes a lot of power for someone. And I talk about this a lot with my ex-partner. He and I are fantastic friends. We get along thick as thieves. Our relationship was good. I wasn't ready for good. I wanted great. I am a hopeless romantic. I want you bringing me no reason flowers. I want to be swept off my feet. Like, I deserve that. And he wasn't able to give that to me at the time. And that's totally fine. I didn't take it out on him. I realized, this isn't working for me. So I'm going to step away before, and this is like just side note, so many relationships go here. I have to talk about it. But the whole reason why so many relationships end in cheating or whatever is because you don't honor the shit when it's the shit. So it just gets so drawn out. So many relationships end before people actually end them. And so I just like kind of bowed out and I was like, it's time for me to step away. Things aren't changing. I've voiced my concerns. Actions speak louder than words. And I want to remain friends. And we did. And so that was a really powerful moment too. I had like manifested him as well.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just joke that my list wasn't specific enough. I manifested all the traits of like tall, blue eyes, plays guitar, not the like treats me like a queen.
Yes, and girl, you deserve that. So,
Ooh,
and you are and you're totally right about the whole thing where relationships technically end before someone like leaves.
yes.
Because I've done it myself.
Yeah.
It's a little different in abusive relationships when you're trying to make a plan and leave. And I've been through that as well. But I've seen like 20-year-old marriages and like people that are in a couple year long relationships. And they're like, I'm so emotionally disconnected, but let's see if things change, or I'm just going to kind of wait. But I'm not going to leave just yet. And it's like, okay, so you're going to drag this on.
Yeah.
And the
Waste
relationship's
time.
technically over and you're ready to break it off, but you're going to wait like 6 months or a year. And it's like,
Yeah. What for? What for? I've seen it. And it's so common. Loveless marriages, keeping together for the kids. Like,
no, it doesn't. So I applaud you for like leaving when that relationship just didn't serve you. And you're like, I don't want to stay here anymore. And I deserve better. In the fact that someone should like bring me flowers on like a random Tuesday, which if that's something that you want, then yes, you're going to find that person because you are the manifestation queen.
so financial freedom was my big manifestation for this year. It is going to happen this month. I am so excited. And my soulmate love is like the 2021 manifestation. I'm ready. South Africa, I need you to open back up, please, and thank you. That's where he lives, I promise.
Hey, well, girl, wherever he is. And like I manifested my partner right out of my last abusive relationship, did all the inner work, healed from all my trauma and why I was getting into the wrong relationships and the wrong men. And it literally was the weirdest thing. I can't even, and I tell this story to family members and friends, and they're like, wait, you never met him till you flew down to Denver? And I'm like, yep, like we met online. We didn't talk for a couple years. We reconnected after my last abusive relationship ended. We became best friends. I went to him for relationship advice and like dating advice.
That's so funny.
And then things were starting getting different. I'm like, hey, like, I'd love to come visit you. Like, I would love to book a vacation. I'll fly down to Denver. I'll come see you in Wyoming, and pick me up, took me to Chick-fil-A because I'm a food girl.
Yes. I used to have a boyfriend who lived in Atlanta, and that was my favorite part about going down there.
I know Canadians are like, if you've never had Chick-fil-A, girl, it's so good.
It's so good that I don't live there.
But that was like the beginning. And then we're just like, okay, shit, this is getting serious. And like, I'm falling in love with you. And we're doing the whole long distance thing while he's finishing his degree down in the States. But like, I'm like, this is my person. I never said I was going to do a long distance relationship again. And here I am waiting another year for us to finally be together after he's done his degree. And it's like, I don't care because this is my person. He is like the love of my life. And he's on the same level with me. So I'm like, yeah, this is my person. I'm done searching. And you just honestly, like, I put the manifestation out there. I let it go. I didn't attach to it. And then he came in like shortly after. And I'm like, okay, universe, this is how you manifest.
So I was also in, and because this is totally the same kind of thing, I was also in, the guy from Atlanta was very emotionally abusive. He reminded me so much of my father, and they were the same person. And so I accepted that because that's what I knew from a male role model. And we were 7 years on again, off again, on again, off again. I thought he was my person. We were like engaged to be engaged at one point. And the final time that we broke up, I was like, this is it. I am over it. I am done. I'm finished. Like, I want to live my life, not be controlled. And I was so desperate to get into another relationship. I was having one night stands. I was doing the bar thing. I was picking up guys left, right, and center. And none of them wanted to date me. And I didn't understand why. I'm like, I'm a catch. And then I realized once I discovered manifestation, it was like, that was my energy. It was repelling. It was good enough for one night and then like never again. And so I had a friend who long story short, she was dating a married man, and this was after like a very traumatic time in her life. Her therapist said, write a list of all of the characteristics that you want. By the way, she's still with this guy who is no longer married, and they are like happy and living in a home together and all of these things. So it worked out for her. But her therapist said, write a list of all of the things that you want in a partner. And years later, I realized, oh my God, that's manifestation, right? And I wrote my list. I put it aside. This was probably April of 2015. I met Josh in June of 2015, 2 months later. And we had like a 3-year relationship and still have a beautiful friendship and all of these things. And I remember 3 months into our relationship, I was like, or like knowing each other, I was like, the list ticked everything. And I was like, wow, that worked. I just thought it was a coincidence at the time. I didn't realize it was manifestation because I let it go. I just put it into a book and I was like, just going to go live my life. And I focused on me. That was the big thing too. I just let go of everything. I was like, I don't need a boyfriend. I'm just going to focus on me. And as soon as I let go of that desperation energy, it was like, the universe was like, oh, here you go. This is a great period of growth for you. Go do this for a bit.
Yeah, I love that you touched on like making that list and like all the characteristics, because that like I did that as well, just like in my head, or I like said it to myself and yeah, just kind of like let that go. I'm like, yeah, that's what I want. Okay, bye list. And then like focus on like that inner work, that healing from the trauma that I experienced. And then he came back in and I'm like, okay, hi, you're supposed to be here for a reason because we disconnected like years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no way that we would have ever talked if it weren't for whatever. And I'm like, you're supposed to either like teach me a lesson or be a blessing in my life right now. But it's like, I'm going to be open to this and allow for it.
Yeah, I love that. And look at you guys now.
He's going to be coming home here soon to Canada for a month. So I'm very, very excited.
Yeah, I am celebrating you too.
Thank you. So Kiki, for our last question, yes. How can women build their confidence with manifestation?
That is a good question. So so this is really like, for me, I always go through the things that excite me, the things that light me up, like follow your bliss, because the more you are doing things that you love, the happier you're going to be and the more confident you're going to be. You also, like how I said, you manifest when you're high vibe. So your frequency determines the things that are going to be manifesting to you. So the very first thing that you want to do is just do the things you love. Follow, like that was the biggest thing when I left my job. It was like, I have this knowing in my gut that this is what I'm meant to be doing. And it's what makes me happy. This idea of freedom, this idea of being able to travel. Travel is in my DNA. It is just what makes me happy. Literally, it's in my genetic coding. I'm meant to travel. I'm meant to respond to the world, literally. And I'm not meant to stay in one place for too long. So without knowing that at the time, I knew it in my soul. Your gifts, your passions, your desires are in you for a reason. You were placed on this earth to uncover those things. And the way that you uncover them is by experiencing life. And so those things, when you uncover them, when you decide what you like, what you don't like, when you follow more of what you like, you're going to uncover more of what you like. And that's just naturally going to lead you to being a more confident person.
Oh, I love that.
Do what makes you happy.
Yes. Do more of what you want than what other people think you should do.
Yes. People, like, one of the top things when people get to their end of their days, they wish they lived less for other people.
Yeah. So ladies listening, watching, live your life for you.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, so this conversation has been so beautiful. I appreciate and love you so much.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone who tuned in. I'm just super grateful.
Great. Well, thank you so much again. I will see you guys later. And thank you again, Kiki.
Mwah.